So this episode was what I've been looking for, I think, this entire time. It's taken us almost the whole season to get there, but we're finally there. Welcome back, everyone. It's me, Amanda, aka Vamp. I am here to talk to you about What If Season 3, Episode 5. What if the emergence destroyed the Earth? Sort of. A heads up, spoilers fully in effect. We're gonna be really going in on this episode. I got a lot of things to talk about. I got a lot of feelings. So let's just get right to it, shall we? So basically in this episode, a little brief synopsis. What are we dealing with here? So the whole idea is that the emergence happened early. The Eternals were not able to stop it. If you don't know what the emergence is, it's referred to in the movie The Eternals. If you didn't watch that, there's probably a lot of you out there actually. If you didn't watch that, it's basically about this idea of how there was a celestial gestating in the earth, which it was basically the earth was being used to fully form the celestial so it could burst forth and a celestial will be born. But sadly, the earth would have been destroyed. Now, the Eternals in their film, they managed to stop this and also had to confront the fact that this whole time they thought they were Earth's protectors, but actually they're protecting Earth so that a celestial could destroy it by being born. So that was a whole thing. In this reality, that doesn't happen. The Eternals are there, but because the emergence happens early, they're not able to stop it. And what happens? The Earth gets destroyed. Like I said, sort of. The Earth becomes destroyed in terms of it's now chunks of Earth that are in space that are kind of still together, but also have a lot of distance. So we have cool things like you can fly around on a ship and go through the space that is just wreckage now of all the people that lost their lives and all of their things that are attached to them. This backpack, for instance, that floats past that we see. So you can just travel through kind of space to get from one chunk of Earth, I guess, to another chunk of Earth. We focus on Riri Williams in this episode, which I did not know that Riri Williams was going to be in this episode. I feel like maybe that was alluded to in the trailer and I just missed it. I was probably too focused on White Vision, to be honest, in this episode. But I really like Riri Williams. If you don't know Riri Williams, she appears in Wakanda Forever, and she is, in the comics, she's basically like Tony's like villain when he is dead. It's not really dead, but for all intensive purposes, let's just say that. She's like his protege, and she takes the mantle of Ironheart in the comics, and while Tony is dead, while he's not around, she fills in for him and has an AI version of him that guides her. So that's basically a little bit about who Ironheart is, and I really liked her in Wakanda Forever. I've actually been maybe one of the few people that's been like really excited for the Ironheart series. I can't be the only person though, because I feel like there are a lot of Ironheart fans out there. So if that's you, sound off in the comments. Let me know that you're a Riri Williams fan. So this was a kind of a cool little surprise for me because I really like Riri. So I like the fact that the episode starts with her, and basically what she's trying to do is she is trying to fight back against this evil force that has basically taken control of the Earth. And who is that evil force? Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio. But I don't think we can say Mysterio. I don't think they really say Mysterio in this episode, or if they do, it's like once. And I don't know if that's like a Sony Marvel thing. It's also weird because we haven't seen any Spider-Man episodes since like season 1. I don't think Spider-Man has appeared at all in What If. What if Spider-Man was back in the MCU? What if we actually got a Spider-Man episode in season 3? I don't think it's gonna happen. And I think it has to do with the Sony Marvel stuff. So, you know, Quentin Beck is here, and, you know, I guess Quentin Beck is like everyone else's villain except for Spider-Man in this world. He's Riri Williams' villain. He's Tony Stark's villain. He's taken over Stark Enterprises. But whatever you do, do not say that he is Spider-Man's villain, because I don't know if we can do that in the MCU right now. What's happening? Get Spider-Man back in here. Anyways, so Quentin Beck has taken over the Earth, and yeah, I thought that was really cool. I think they actually make Quentin Beck really frightening in this episode, and Riri is focused on because she is trying to stop Quentin. So she ends up sort of getting together with this survivor group. These are like a group of people that are like heroes. They're trying to fight back against Quentin back in his illusion network, and they are known as a big A that you might recognize that stands for, say it with me, Alliance. Obviously it stands for Alliance. What were you gonna say? You knew it was Alliance, right? I knew it was Alliance. Yeah, so it doesn't stand for Avengers, it stands for Alliance. And I liked this team too. This is a fun team. So we've got Wong, we've got Ying-Nan, who is Shang-Chi's aunt, we've got Valkyrie, and we have Okoye here. Okoye was the one that I was like, oh yeah, I guess Okoye's here? All right. So the whole idea is that this group meets up with Riri, sees that she's trying to create something that's analog that she can use to basically take down Quentin Beck by defeating basically his right-hand guy who's super powerful, White Vision, which he has complete control over. So they're trying to build this weapon to take out and neutralize White Vision, and Riri does end up being able to do this, but her downfall is supposed to be that she merges with that tech and ultimately brings that tech to Quentin, who takes it and then loses the fight. Now, the cool thing about this episode that I really, really love is that they actually set up at the beginning, they actually set up some motherfucking stakes. Stakes. Who would have thought? Stakes. And I don't mean steaks that you eat. I mean actual life or death scenario where it feels like things might not go perfectly. And they set it up with Jeffrey Wright as Uatu's narration. So we get the Watcher in here who's got some great narration that lays all this down for us, our expectations that it's not going to go well. And then at the end, guess what happens? It does end up going well, but only because the Watcher interferes. But I liked the fact that it set up sort of a less hopeful story where, you know, you still are curious to see what's going on and what's going to happen, especially because this was really cool because it was actually a what if based on something that happened in the MCU. So it was kind of this idea of like, what if, you know, the emergence basically hadn't been stopped? What if it had destroyed the Earth, and what would that be like? We also get to see characters interacting with each other that we don't normally get to see, another element of what if that I really love. And we also get some cool character designs with Riri taking basically White Vision's parts and merging with the Synthezoid and becoming a Synthezoid herself in a way. So all of that was really cool. I also like Quentin Beck's, Mysterio's design in this. I thought that was really cool. So all of those elements were fun and actually made this a very exciting and thrilling episode for me, which is something that I just haven't really been feeling a lot of with season 3. And I mean, I don't know, some people have said in the comments that maybe my expectations are too high for What If, but I don't think they're too high. I mean, I just feel like what I want out of What If, ultimately, if I had to boil it down, is I want something that is exciting, that's fun, that gives us some sort of fresh takes on characters, allows us to see people interact that we don't normally get to see interact, and ideally that has life or death stakes, because these are multiversal stories. So, you know, characters don't have to all survive, and the heroes, I think, don't always have to win. Now, the reason why I feel like it's so fun to play with those things is because with superhero stories, with hero stories in general, there are simply a lot of tropes that typically always are followed, and in a way kind of need to be followed. Like, unless we're doing something like Invincible, which is all about subverting some of those tropes, I feel like there is an expectation, but there's also kind of a responsibility of the story to make sure, you know, the heroes save the day. That's just kind of what we expect. I know, speaking of tropes, that there's probably going to be people that maybe don't love that the Watcher interfered here, especially because we already did that. But to that I will say, this is kind of what I'm talking about. Welcome to comics, baby. How many times has this happened in the comics? I don't even know. So many times. I like that is actually an element of it, and that's what changes it and what makes it so that Riri saves the day. Now, granted, do I think that this still would have been a great story if that didn't happen? Yeah, I do. And I do feel like part of me kind of wishes that the Watcher didn't interfere, even though I know that's where we're building to sort of like the end of the show, because I think these last few episodes are all going to be connected to just kind of give us a nice little wrap on What If, which I don't really have an issue with, but we'll see how the ending goes, because season 2, I didn't really mind that the stories were connected until we got to the ending, and then I was very much like, what just happened? This show just fell off a cliff. So we'll see how it goes, but overall, I enjoyed this episode. I had a lot of fun with it. It's also getting me excited for things like, you know, I don't know if we're still doing Armor Wars. I haven't heard anything about Ironheart in a while, but I think they're still doing Ironheart. It's getting me excited for just future projects, and I think that's something that I also really loved about episode 3, What If the Red Guardian stopped the Winter Soldier, because that obviously got a lot of people hyped for Thunderbolts. It got me hyped for Thunderbolts, so it's also cool when, it's not necessary, but I do think it's cool when we can have what if projects that just kind of allow us to hype up stuff that's coming in the MCU, because why not? Why not? I think that's fun. I think it's fun. I think it's fun. I think it's fine. I think let's do it. So that's all I have for this one, friends. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Did you like this episode? Did you not like this episode? How was it for you? I think my overall rating on this one would be a 4 out of 5. It's not quite perfect, but it's still pretty much everything that I want out of What If. I mean, I think the only thing that I would have really changed is just let it be a one-shot story and let it kind of have a tragic ending that you set up at the beginning. But at the same time, I understand why they're doing that, so I'm not really like mad about it. It's kind of more of, I guess, my personal preference. But overall, I don't really think there was much else missing from this episode. And the whole, like, what happened to the Earth thing, I guess, is another, you know, there's been a lot of moments this season where I feel like we just have to be like, suspend some disbelief. Suspend it. Let me know how this episode ranks for you, but I think it's my favorite one. I'll see you down in the comments. Make sure you go check out our other good animated things where, you know, sometimes we talk about other stuff, like, I don't know, Spy Family. Did you know that we talk about Spy Family? Because Spy Family, speaking of stakes, that show's got them in spades. Even though everyone is safe, I still am always on the edge of my seat. So I'll see you next time. Until then, stay nerdy.